Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Happy Worship Wednesday, everyone. Um, I hope, pray, and hope everyone is having a wonderful morning so far. Good morning to you. Thank you for coming in this morning. If you are in my live this morning, I am looking at some photos of the bold American eagle and the flag and all the beautiful scenery of our military. And I was watching this and I was like, oh, this is so beautiful and so interesting. Sad that I wasn't able to get to New York to put a flag or something on my father's tombstone. Put a flag next to his. He's buried inside the United States military cemetery in New York, in Long Island. I'll be there this weekend, but I don't know if I'll be able to get a chance to ride out to Long Island because I'll be in Harlem attending a funeral from one of my church members from back in Harlem, family members who passed away, and they having her life celebration that will be taking place this Saturday. So I'm trying to get out of here so I can start, preparing for my trip. So I done put my father, but hopefully, prayerfully in June for Father's Day, I will probably go there on Father's Day and put a flag and also some flowers there for my mom because they both are in the same, buried in the same spot. My mom is buried right next to my dad and her husband. Okay, and I hope a lot of you that had parents that were in the military that you will honor that. Sometimes you don't understand why people have died the way they have in the United States military. Serving the military is a on life going commitment, and no matter where you at in life, as long as you serve that United States military army, you are supposed to be recognized for your work. No matter where you at in life, whatever job you take, you always make sure you include your military duties and on as far as you serve in the military. I wish I would have went on and served the Marines like I was going to when I came out of high school, but I allowed myself to be in this relationship that kind of like took me away from my future as far as for the military. But I still pray for those of my family members that are serving right now, like my nephew, for instance, who's now in the military, and I pray daily for him. And that's why I stay so strongly about the duties of how we serve under our President of the United States of America. And I'm very, very like this. I say this to the American people. You know that job as President of the United States is a high risk job. Your life is so surrounded by danger all the time. You definitely have to have a lot of love, not for people, but for this country in general. You have to definitely be a person that has true compassion for the American people, the American people. Not saying you don't care about other people as well who are here in the United States of America, but the majority of people that you're going to definitely embrace are those who are the American citizens here and those who came here to flee from a place of wickedness, of a government that was evil and there was no opportunity of growth, and that people lived under some class system. Whether you know it or not, there is a class system in the United States of America, depending on your style, your class, what you enjoy living life. Not to say have a whole lot of money, because that's not what it's really truly all about. It's not always about having a lot of money. It's always about your character. How you going to treat others as you like to be treated. Those are the things that we learn from the teachings of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. If you follow his word through the Bible and you follow the things that he teaches us, you will learn that life will be a whole lot more easier for you. Not so burnt out, not so stressed out, not so dragged out, okay? You just have to follow his command and how to treat others. And that is a very important work. I mean, that's a very important thing that we all need to work on. And I think Americans, they've been so spoiled to the point where they don't know what it's like to not have anything. And that's why you see all these people out here just crashing out because they were so used to just getting their own way and having whatever they want without even working hard for it, without actually having to go on any kind of, real way of not having certain things that they crashing out. Um, People that's always used to just things just falling right in place for them, and that's not going to be in America for too long because we got people that's living here and who milk this system so badly that came here under TPS status, never went back to their own country. They got in through TPS, and because of the administration that was running this country before, because of their foolishness and their neglect, is the reason why we're in this type of condition right now. But those of us who used to not having anything, we fine. Those of us who never really had much of anything, we're fine. Those of us who just get up every day and just go to work and come home and pay bills all the time and stress, we just do what's right. We got to do what we got to do. But those people that just always had these big executive jobs and always thought they was on top of the world and they was around here just bullying people because they had that kind of, you know, prestige or charisma, whatever they had, whatever kind of position they were in that they had, and they've been so ruined by it, by not treating people fairly and talking to people any kind of way they want to, and then disgracing people, are the people that are right now going through this season of suffering. They don't know who with them and who's not with them. They trying to keep up with an image, and the image they trying to keep up with is slowly but surely destroying them from within and outward. But let's go into our Father's Prayer before I get into this conversation. What I really came to talk about, and it has never left my heart for this young lady Shanquella, and I still kept her mother, her father, and her family, and those who loved her as close friends. Her church family, maybe a community from the church and everything else like that. That she was mysteriously, I wouldn't even say mysteriously because it was right in our face because everybody saw the video and we not stupid. And even the Mexican government, when they got a chance to see the video, then they wanted to bring some charges on this young lady, Dejanay, the one responsible for hurting, that one they actually saw in the video, that was beating on Shanquella. But let's go into our Father's Prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Lord, give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses. We forgive those who have trespassed against us. Lead us, Lord, not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thy kingdom, the power, and all the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Amen. Yes, so as I was saying, like Shanquilla's story is not gone. It's starting to resurface. New things have arrived, and the case is reopening here in the United States. And They brought some kind of civil case against these people, how they violated this girl. And they took her on this trip to Los Cabos, Mexico, just so that they can get away with their crime. And they knew if they could do it somewhere in a foreign country, the process of prosecuting them or whatever for it, it will take a matter of time so that they can um, do everything, like try to lie. That's what sometimes the government allows you to do when they want to get you and they want to build a case against you. They are watching everything if you're doing from then on. Okay? And they are looking at other things that you might have been involved with, as far as if you had any priors before in any kind of thing that was criminal. They will find you. They will find out. They will go all the way back for how long you've been on this earth, from the time you came out of your mother's womb. They are doing thorough research so they know where they're gonna get you when they put those charges on you and they do those sentencing on you. How much weight they gonna make it stick? Okay, they gotta find everything they can to throw against the wall to make it stick. And is more than one person involved in this investigation. You have six other people. You got Khalil. You got the other one, some other name, Najir. And you got this other girl named Alice. Alice and Dejanay and all the some names, if I forgot them because they weren't too relevant, because they didn't really they were there, but they weren't there. They wasn't probably the ones took any participation. That's why they have to really go through everything really, really, seriously, because you don't want to make it stick on one person only because it wasn't one person that was present. Then there's some that just stood around with cameras as they videotaped this young lady being harmed, okay, being beaten. And when her spine was broken and her neck was disconnected from her spine, you know, what was done to her was so unnecessary. For them to beat her in the night or the morning when she woke up, or whatever way they did it, nobody really knows how the fight really started. But I know one thing: somebody ended up dead afterwards, and it was Shanquella. And she never made it back home, but her six friends, they made it back to the United States of America. They concocted a story of some poisoning of alcohol, and come to find out that wasn't true. There was other things in her toxicology report of her cause of her death, and her mother even said that Shanquilla barely ever drank. She wasn't that much of a drinker, so she definitely knew it wasn't no alcohol poisoning. And of course, the father had to also, you know, weigh out on this thing, and he was just really distorted and torn to pieces. I don't know if Shanquilla is his only child he had with his wife or had with Shanquilla's mother. I don't know if they met. I don't know much about their life because that's not important for me to get all into their family history like that, because that's not. The only thing I know is my mother people was a Robinson, or the Robinsons, but they from the South Carolina. But people moved around with that name. So anyway, like I'm saying, I don't really get into all the details of their family history, but I just wanted to make sure that this young lady, her story, don't die, in her case, don't go cold, and that these criminals don't get away with what they did by taking her to a foreign country and having her unalived. I think that is the most horrible thing that anybody can do to another human being, is you have such a hatred, hidden jealousy, and a meanness about you that you will actually take someone out of the United States or out of their place of origin just to unalive them. people that live with that kind of evil, it should not take root here in the USA. We are always working hard to make life greater for not just America, but for other places as well. That you don't take your crime into other people's country and destroy the life there. You just don't do things of that nature. Harming people, and I don't care where you go, you can't take them to Egypt, Panama, wherever the places you want to go outside of the U.S. to do your criminal stuff. Just like we're going to get back on the Joe McCann story, also what happened to Ashley Robinson, Janae Robinson. That story ain't died down yet. We just giving the family some time to get through their grievance. And sometimes people just need time so that they can get themselves together. After something tragically happens, you don't want to see the people clicking on videos every time you turn around. You speaking on things that you really don't know everything that's really going on. That's why they had her funeral, and they made sure it was private, that nobody came in there with cameras and all kind of things interrupting their service for the homegoing for Ashley. Because some people might have said some wicked, nasty things about her, didn't even know her, but they had a whole lot of evil, nasty, retarded things to say because that wasn't somebody close to them or wasn't a relative of theirs, and they don't think about the family, how they're grieving, how they're hurting, how they're going through this pain in life. And this is the kind of world we have become through social media and the internet, because everything goes fast on the internet, but people don't do too much time to think, to really weigh things out, or to examine things before they get into the conversation about when it comes to the human heart and when it comes to other people's loved ones. I'm not going to sit up here and bash the young lady. I didn't know the young lady. I just heard of her death at the time, and because of the name Robinson being sort of like in my family name, it drew an interest to me. And this is what I say about Shanquella. They should never let this story die. They should allow this story to go on as long as those 6 people are not behind bars for the crime they committed. This story should stay alive, because nobody, ain't no way in the world you're gonna sit and tell me that she died of alcohol poisoning when a video went viral of her being beaten up by this brawly woman. She was being beaten by Dejanay Jackson, who now changed her name to some Green or something. She changed her name now, like that's supposed to, get her away from what she did. No, that you still the same person, Dejanay Jackson, and I don't care what you change your name to be, you are still going to be Dejanay Jackson. You are still going to be that woman who was up in this woman's bedroom, in her suite, beating the living daylights out of her. Even when the girl didn't even want to fight you, you still put your big burly hands on her. You bully, you disgusting, and you definitely need to be put in jail. Right there in a bill with prison with women like you are at, so you can get your ass kicked every damn day. Every day. Good morning. Yes, yes. I've been trying to cover this story because I'm not really covering it because I just know that the Dejanay girl was should have been held accountable. I'm sorry. To me, I don't think she should have got away with anything. Right then and there, they should have kept her, hold her without bond until this whole thing fell over. This whole thing. Everybody say that was a man. I don't know if that was a man. She might look rough and hard. These days, you can't really tell. You really can't really tell who's who these days. It's just so much going on with people of our world today where people got their whole gender thing all messed up. Now it's another thing going on, but we'll get into that story later about something that Kevin Hart said. And of course, he is a liberal. And he's not apologizing to the LGBTQ community. I think no, not to the LGBTQ. I'm sorry, to Black Lives Matter, because they are disgusting. They make black people look horrible. They make us look always like we always a victim when some things are just not that way. And they give us an excuse, and they don't always want to make black people not feel they are accountable for their own actions and their own behavior sometimes and the things that they do. And they need to they need to learn how to accept the consequences like anybody else that they go around and hurt. Like I'm talking about this big burly Dejanay. What is going to be her excuse for taking another black girl, black woman like herself, to out of the United States of America with a bunch of other people and beating her up the way she did? Everybody says she was a man. I don't know that until that part comes out. Okay, until it probably will never come out in the court of justice, because they probably will keep that part kind of like hidden, about her privacy, about her life, about her gender. Well, we'll find out when she go to jail that she's a man, because President Trump ain't sending no female, no male to a female prison. You going to a male prison. You're going to take your trendy behind bars with men like you. That's your gender. That's where you going. And this is what I like about the Trump administration, because the Trump administration is not doing things and taking it lightly. They staying hard on it and they enforcing it. And there's a whole lot of things they're gonna be cracking down on before Trump leave office. He definitely gonna do a whole lot. It's a whole lot of stuff that just gonna come crashing down. Okay, and these people are mad out of their mind for what? I don't know. They just not used to being given any kind of discipline or any instructions. They just spent their life just doing whatever the hell they want to do without taking any account, without being punished for it, any consequences. And that's not the way we should live. That's not a way of living. You need order. You need law to be put in place, and law needs to be enforced, and we need order, because things is so totally out of control in America now. Which, like I said, the Obama and Biden and Harris administration destroyed the foundation of this country. They turned it looking like a third world, because that's where the mindset they came from. Biden was born here, but he has a lot of hate in his heart towards American people, the American, maybe because he spent most of his life being a politician. And the only way he was able to get recognized to ever get in a seat to be a president is being behind so-called the first black president, which is Obama. That was kind of strange, wasn't it? All these years that Biden been a life politician, in senator, governor, whatever the hell he served as, okay? Because he's been a politician most of his life. And Obama, of course, became a politician too, but Biden, of course, is way was older than Obama. So he came with a whole lot more weight, than Obama did. But why was he the vice president and Obama was the president? Or unless he was just playing vice president, but really the president of the United States. And then he got another term and a third term with Obama, with being president with Kamala. And it was always, and then to me, it sounded like it was already set up that he was going to pick Kamala just so that he can still hold on to the black votes. Now the black people are no longer going to be sitting around listening to these buffoons, okay? Obama, Biden, Kamala, and all the rest of them. It's slowly but surely people are waking up, and people are getting the truth. They starting to see the truth. And I don't think nobody's showing any loyalty to any administration. I mean, to any government party. I think people just want to make the right decision for themselves without having to be committed to being a loyal to any kind of political party. That's where I'm at. I don't want no commitment to no loyalty to no political party. I just want to get the people in that gonna do the job. That's it. That's my most important thing. If you could be a doggone booga booga, for all I care, as long as you're an American and you know the values here, and you respect the values here, and you're gonna do what's right for the American people, and you're gonna stay on your job, and you're gonna push things that needs to be done to get done. That's it. I don't care what party you come from. Okay, it's just fact that you just gotta be on the job. You just gotta be right for the American people. That's the most important thing because I am American. I love America. I was born here, raised here, breathed here, whatever. I ain't gonna say life has always been so grand because it hasn't. Because every day is an everyday struggle to stay here above and not beneath. Every day we all go through something different. We challenged with. It comes from all different ways. You know, you challenged with your finances, you challenged with your relationships, you challenged with, and right now, to be honest with you, I'm saying this to most women out there that are single. I don't see you safe being in any relationship at this point. I think your relationship should just be with our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and dedicating your singleness, your time of loneliness, if that's what you feel. You don't got a husband, you ain't got a boyfriend, you ain't got nobody. I think your best bet is to stay with Christ. He will take away all your desires that you might have to have a man, but he will pour so much more into you that you won't miss them. Okay? You won't miss having one. Because today, a lot of things that I've been seeing, especially that goes on, thank God my husband's not a social media person, because if he was, I'll be in trouble too. He doesn't really do social media at all. Okay, don't like it. He don't like it. He don't like the way the behavior is. It gives him anxiety or whatever, so he stays away from it. I'm just a social media person because I was doing it before I met him. Anyway, like I said, um, what I'm saying and everything to you all is that young ladies out there, these men are not healthy for you to be in a relationship with. You don't know who they've been with before they get to you at this age, especially when you like in your 60s already and maybe your 50s even, or 40s or whatever age you are, and you single, you had a husband, you had a family already, and all of that other good stuff. You don't need to be out here looking for no more relationships but with the Lord Savior Jesus Christ. And that is where a lot of women are missing today. They want to say they love God, but they not doing the things God asks of them. They not at the church doing the things they need to do as mothers in the church. They not there trying to help with the younger women in the church and the young children in the church and doing their services there in the community. You don't need to be a part of no other organizations. Once you've been out in the world, you experience certain things out there in this world. It's time now that you elderly, older women get your house in order and return back to the house of God. Now, if you separate it out of your marriage, God can fix it. God can fix him. God, he probably can see it through you that he needs change. That's what you might need to do, because if you out there looking for a man in any club, any bar, at the job, or just randomly meeting him in the supermarket or wherever you might go, at your child's event, whatever, is not safe. Okay? This is not the safest season for anybody over the age of 45. I would even say 40. Once you hit the age 40, and you already had children, you already had a husband, you already had a boyfriend, you already did all those things already. Why do you still got to keep having all these relationships and making yourself go crazy? And mostly every time I turn on the TV, another man done killed another woman. Another woman been snatched out of here by her crazy and sick and unhinged boyfriend or husband. or her being harmed and her children being harmed. There's just so much going on out there. That's why I say the safest place is having a relationship right now with your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because that's the only way you're going to get these men to get right with God. You don't follow me, and you follow the word, the scriptures, and you go get it uplifted, and you join in a community to work around the community of these fatherless children and these parents, these young mothers who's having a hard time. You can give them some support and some help, spiritual support. Not go in their household and try to run their household or to run the man out or get in their way, or you could get harmed. The best place for you right now is to stay involved at the church, and these women need to get off the pulpit. These women need to get off the pulpit. Let these men do the work they were called to do for the Lord. Stop trying to be the man and the woman and trying to run the church like you the one. God said it in his word that no woman is called to be no preacher, pastor, whatever. Yes, Jesus spoke to some women that were broken. Yes, he spoke to some women that were living out there in the world whoring. Yes, he spoke to them and he cleaned their life up and everything, and they were just a witness to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Stop using Deborah, because at that time God used her gifts, her wisdom. She was a prophetess. Judge Deborah was a prophetess. And she was used to help Barak and his army in the battle. But she didn't lead the fight. She gave him strategy. And there's nothing wrong with a woman being in the ministry as long as she's doing what is right to protect the church. And her way of protecting the church is to watch that pastor on that pulpit, making sure he don't fall, making sure he keep him away from those young girls jumping all up in his face and everything. Have some mothers in the church check it, making sure nothing goes on in that church that is not supposed to be there. And that's what the elders are supposed to do in the church. They the overseers. They the ones who hold all the wisdom and the power in the house of God. I'm talking about the black church. I don't know much about the white churches because I didn't go to the white churches. I stayed in I visit white churches before, like some of the Catholic churches. My mother was Catholic, so she enjoyed going there quietly, listening to some of the services for her quiet time and prayer and everything, and was nothing wrong with it. She couldn't take the noise. But she still knew what community of people she basically belonged to. But she had to do her prayer with them quietly, not all noisy up in the church. But the elders and the mothers in the church are supposed to be checking that pastor, are supposed to be checking every minister that comes into that church, are supposed to be there doing using all the wisdom. You shouldn't be in the bar. You shouldn't be at the club. It's too much work out here to do. And your kids are dying out there. They have no guidance, no protection, no nothing, because you want to be partying and trying to relive your life as a teenager too, going to the bars and clubs and taking all these trips around the world. Yeah, you can take a trip, but you can do it with your church groups. As senior citizens, seniors are always planning things at the church for the seniors and things for the community. You don't need to be out there chasing men. You don't need tats all over your body. I ain't got not one. The way I see these women being dropped and dragged out of here, they dying. Their bodies are just so ridiculous. They not even thinking about longevity with all the tattoos all over their body. Everybody that just been unalived by the boyfriends, they got tattoos. The boyfriend got tattoos. They all look the same way. They all got these things on their body. The demonic tattoos that they keep putting all over their body. Do they think about getting old with what them tattoos are going to look like on their body? All these piercings in their face and their bodies, and the belly button pierced, the tongue pierced, the nose pierced, somewhere on the lip is pierced, and all of this stuff that they doing to themselves for attention. And God forbids it. God do not want you marking your body, graven images on your body, and he said it. He finds that demonic. Why can't you just love the body that you're in and just keep it clothed? And today they don't even know how to put on no clothes. Or if they put something on, they got to show everything while they wearing it. And me with these men with long hair today, long hair, it's like every day old as dirt, okay? Dreadlocks, even though I got my hair in like kinky twists because I'm getting older now, but I can always throw my wigs on and stuff like that and make my hair, cover up my head. But like the Lord said, women's got to cover her head. But the thing is that these men, they run around here with more longer hair. You can't tell. They got a little boy now that he's a young kid. He got hair all the way down to his behind. Cute little boy, but I don't like it. I don't like it whatsoever. For him to be on social media, he's supposed to be a little rapper, singer, whatever. I think that's hard for a child to understand that the child doesn't really notice what is really happening at that age. He's being groomed to be something that he's really not. He's not a girl. And it looks like they are so making him into a girl. Like a pretty boy face and have his hair all long down to his behind. And his hair is fine hair. And he's just waving it around like a woman. And everybody got this thing from out of the book of Samson. But that was Samson's culture and his family culture and everything, that he was never to cut his hair, never let a razor take his hair because that will take away his strength from him. So these men think that they read the Bible like that, like they Samson. Okay, and they got these long dreadlocks and these long braided hair and everything, which they not a Nazarene, they American. You born in America. You not a Nazarene. You wasn't born in in that part of the world. You wasn't born in the Middle East or nowhere out in Israel, nowhere. You are an American. Okay? Why you got these dreadlocks in your hair? It looks so terrible that men are turning so feminine today. They just too feminine. Not saying just because you got a haircut that gonna make you more masculine, but it does help. It does help. And I'm just so sick of the men with the long hair and braids. And like one of my nephews came to ask me to braid his hair. I said, no, I'm not doing that. I never did that. I never braided your hair. Now, when you was a little boy, too small to get a haircut, and you was crying too much, yes, your mommy used to, do some braids in your hair. That's when they do it because kids are still too young to go to the barber. They don't sit down in the chair. They move too much. Before the parents can, you can't cut their hair because they move too much and you don't want to hurt them. So of course the hair has to grow to the child got to be at a certain age, trained to sit in the barber chair. And sometimes it's hard to kind of cut their hair with their autism maybe, and whatever else might be going on with they not being able to sit. And you might have to do it when they're asleep so you can get it done right. You have to be a real trained professional barber. But when I see grown 40, 50 years old men, and even not even 40, 50 years old, look at their attitude. Just check out their attitude. Like I'm telling these young women out here, what are you looking, the older women, especially the younger women, they need to get out and get a husband. But it has to be done in a way where they protect it as well. And that's why they need just your wisdom to help them in the church. As the mothers in the church, that's where I had the mothers in the church that used to talk to me, and I was a grown woman, 30 something years, but some of them didn't need to talk to me. They needed to hear them advice for themselves because see, I was already trained the do's and the don't do's. Well, maybe some things I might got a little messy with, but there was just certain things I just wasn't going. to get myself caught up in the church or whatever like that. I always came decently, respectfully, in the right attire. I came with the right attire, to wear the right attire to church, and to make sure everything that I wore to church wasn't exposing myself. Today, they need to learn that style to come to church. They need to slowly but surely groom these young people, these young ladies or whatever, who's been out in the world and who's been using her body as commodity. Okay? She get with a guy, she sleep with him because he buy her a few things, nice things or whatever, but then she becomes his property, or she become used and harmed, and sometimes even deadly. So you got to be very careful about how you share your life with somebody, how you meet somebody just because he's doing nice, wonderful things for you. At least things start off small. Take me to McDonald's. Let's go to a movies. Let's go out for a snack. At least I know that you're interested in me, but you're not going to be, trying to do things to impress me. And then later on, you're not going to do those things because you just wanted to get my attention. So you're going to go all out of the way to break yourself, break your pockets, your money, and everything. And I'm just going to go with the flow with it. And then the next thing you know, I'm going to end up hurt when you're not able to do it for me. Then guess what? I'm going to start looking for somebody else who can continue to keep me spoiled or whatever. But how long is that going to last? Because eventually, beauty do fade. Okay? Eventually, beauty do fade. And that's where a lot of women end up at. They use their looks. They use whatever they have to get attention from a man. They put everything out there. And then all of a sudden, he gets their attention. He drives a nice car because he knows what kind of woman you are to impress you. He take you to eat at these fine restaurants and these fine expensive food restaurants, buy you these fine things in life, buy you these nice diamonds and jewelry that is too way so expensive, where that money could have been used to help some poor family to pay some rent, or to help somebody in your family that was going through some hardship and they got a family and stuff, and you rather use that money to go buy your $2,000, your girlfriend that $2,000 ring or whatever. And I think that's really selfish. I think it's very disgusting. And they preach about the materialistic stuff they used to anyway. I don't know. They preach more about profit and money and this, that, and the other, but they don't preach enough about salvation, and they don't preach enough about what it is takes to really live your life as a Christian, and the things you need to watch in the world that won't harm you or destroy you, even in characteristics, even as you watching how you dating. Don't have to take me to no fine food restaurant. I'm fine going to McDonald's. Okay, at least I know what's on the menu, and I know what's in the burger, what's in the da 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 da. Now, once in a while, to go out to eat to a nice fine, to a restaurant, that's fine. But every single time we dating, we go out, we gotta eat at the finest places and eat. And that will bore the living daylights out of me. We saw the movie Scarface. She was bored. She had nowhere else to go but to the grave. Okay? She didn't see nothing more in life to live for. And I hope when she did escape from this man, because there wasn't no part two to the movie, and I pray it never will be, but me thinking that she left and she wasn't going back, I believe that woman ran to save her life and got herself in some kind of rehabilitation program. She probably went and got herself in rehab. She probably went to go do something to work with. She probably became a nun. Okay, because she done been out in the world and did so much to herself out there with these men and money and drugs that she had nowhere else to go but run her life to Jesus, and probably took her life into become a nun. That's what a lot of young women did when they were messed up and in the Catholic Church and everything. Maybe she had an abortion. Maybe she got pregnant a few times. A lot of things she might have did to destroy herself from within. That she got tired of living her life materialistic. She got tired of men hitting on her. She got tired of just being with all kind of different relationships or whatever it might have been that she been going through. She finally decided to just surrender her love to God. And that means marry to him and him only, and give her heart to the world to take care of whatever church duties that need to be taken care of. Being part of the children programmings at the schools and everything, the Catholic schools, also helping around with the children and everything with activities, planning activities around the school activities for the education for the children, and doing other things other than using her body and using her life out there in the world just till the world destroys her. There's some people that just gonna go to the grave ugly and mean. They just gonna go to the grave in love with themselves. Okay, I had a relative who's done that too. They laid her down like a queen, but those that knew her, we know she was a good mother. Was she? Was she a good mother? Sometimes you gotta really ask yourself when people going down in these caskets and they look like they lived a life that was so royal, that they treated people right and they were good to people and they took in a lot of, helped a lot of people. I'm very, very leery about those people. I'm very suspicious about those people that go down like that, because I saw some go down like that and they weren't nice people. They were selfish. They were full of themselves. They were wicked. They had favoritism over other people, and they treated other people kids different from other people kids. You know, stuff like that. Favoritism and all of that other stuff. God is no respectable person, meaning that God has no favoritism. And when we out here as ambassadors for Christ, and we out here being servants for the Lord, and we out here witnessing for the Lord or whatever, there's just certain things that just don't fit in with his characteristics. And some people think that they going to heaven, but they really going down in hell. Okay? They're going to burn in hell with all of those things they possessed from the world. They're going to burn in hell. Because when God bless you to have the resources more than enough, and you take it and you using it on your own selfish reasons, ambition or whatever, God wants you to give that to you to help you bless others. But you got to use your right conscience. You got to use the right way of doing it. Don't do it because you want to do it just to be seen. Don't do it because you want to boast and brag about it. Don't do it if you have that kind of way of thinking. Do it because you care. Do it because you really truly care, that you love the person and you want to see the person get help. You want to see that this person situation be well taken care of. Like, I had to call my church for an emergency reason and they got right up on it. That's how you know. You go through something, and that's when the Lord will show you who he is and how he showed you favor. Because they came through for me. And I haven't walked in that church on a Sunday since Palm Sunday. Okay? And I already said that I keep in touch with my pastor and everything. I do, tell him about things that I like to see and things I don't like seeing on whatever services. Like I said, these women got to get out the pulpit because they messing up the children. All these young men here is a woman's voice talking to them all the time. That's not good. These young men in church, well, thank God that I didn't raise none of my nephews in any female church. Okay? I never put them in front of a church where it was a woman in leadership. Never. Now, I have a family member who's done that, and the boys turned out to be all messed up. Okay? The boys that she raised, they either turned out to be homosexuals, dead, or in prison. And I told her not to do it. I said, you need to find, because you took on these 3 boys and they don't have a man, a strong male example, and you single and you by yourself raising these 3 boy children, You need to find a strong male church. You need to even come to my church. Don't go there to be seen. Don't go there to be a part of any clique or anything like that. You there because you want these young men to have a positive male influence in front of them at the earliest time of their life. That's the best place is to get it from you is through the pastor, even if he is a infidel or whatever you want to call him. But as long as he's standing up there in his manly look, I ain't talking about no effeminate man. He has his robe on. He's preaching the gospel. He should be an older man, an older gentleman, or something like that. The church should have men in the church, married, have wives, and have family. As far as in the church and everything, you get to learn the members of the church, the body of who's ever there. You get to know how they raising their children. Their children showing up in church with them. Their husbands show up in church with them. The wives come to church with their husbands, and the kids stay home or whatever. I don't like to see a family household where the mother is like, oh, she in church, but the doggone kids aren't. That don't make no sense. That never made sense to me. When I see mothers show up in church without the kids. Talking about she need to get a break in peace and everything. She's in church, but her kid's not. Teenagers on top of that. They don't ran this woman crazy. See, sometimes these mothers that act that way, they want to give their life to God now. And they had a bunch of kids. A bunch of kids. Not one child, but a bunch of kids out of marriage. Now her household is divided. It's destructive. She can't have no peace there because she had too many men inside of her. She had too many different villages and too many different tribes and everything else. It's always going to be a mess there. There's no way. If anybody been successful at it, then let me know. I will be glad to shake your hand. I will be glad to even wash your feet. Okay? That's how glad I will be if you was a woman that actually raised a household full of boy children, female children, whatever children, and your house was in order. Without it being out of order, without the kids running you out of your mind and acting crazy, and you just can't keep up with all their behavior because of the simple fact that you don't know where it's all coming from because it ain't coming from you, or it may not be coming from other children. It might be coming from the DNA that he inherited from some other household, and you just never give yourself time to really know that family, but you had yourself in bed with this person because they were good looking, they sold you a bunch of dreams or whatever they told you they got in your head that made you lay down in that bed, and you had sex with them and you end up pregnant, and you ended up not wanting to get rid of the child because you thought this would be an opportunity to get this man to take care of you, and if you had a couple of other children, to take care of them as well and stand in the place as the father, replacing the absent father. Instead of trying to replace Jesus, instead of trying to get Jesus in your house at the earliest part of their life, instead you went and got some man that came in and probably put your son on drugs, probably did some horrible things. And these days, before you used to worry about your daughters being molested, now today you got to worry about your sons being harmed even more, because you got this president. We had these presidents that thought it was a great idea, even if it was approved by the what you call it, that they was going to let same-sex marriage be part of whatever they proved that law, whatever. It should be appealed and it should be taken down, and it should never be allowed because it's out of order with God. God never said that was right to do that, and now we are suffering today in society because of these laws that put people in hell. Okay? I don't care how much they wanted it. It should have never been offered to them. It should have never been put in place for to protect them or to give them laws. God does not like that either. You can't represent God with these unclean things in your government. This stuff should never be allowed to take root in the United States of America. Now, President Trump is doing the most he can, the best he can, to destroy these people that destroyed America. And it's so many of them, you don't know who's from who, but God will show you who they are. That chief of police was just resigned, O'Neill, whatever his name was, O'Hara. And I knew something was suspect about that chief of police when all this stuff was going on in Minnesota with ICE and everything else like that. How he was so on the front line protecting those Somalians and doing all of this other stuff that he wasn't going to allow ICE to come into his state and come into Minnesota in his part of town, whatever they call it, and make arrest, and he's letting people out. Now he got, after a while, God just going to shake him up. God going to shake them up and shake them out of here. You know what I'm saying? They can run, but they cannot hide. They can try to disguise themselves to be good people, but eventually the real them is going to show up. Because God going to find out. God going to pluck their heart right out. Okay? God going to show you who they are. You're going to see these people, and you're going to know these people don't belong to his kingdom, and he's going to destroy them. And anybody that's trying to protect them will be destroyed along with them. And the reason I got Shanquella on here is because this thing went on 4 years ago. This young lady life was taken in Los Cabos by some fake friends. And I'm only going to say one fake friend because that was the person who invited her at the last minute because somebody canceled. This is what happened from what I got, that somebody invited Shanquella Khalil invited Shanquella to take somebody else's spot because they wasn't able to attend to go to the thing. So Shanquella did not even know these girls that well. She didn't know Elise. No, she knew Elise and Khalil because those were the only two people she really knew. But she did not know Dejanay Jackson and the other guy that showed up, Nazir, was also a friend of Shanquella. Probably one of those acquaintances, somebody you did business with, whatever, because she was in the world of business. So, of course, she had to make some connections with business interest and business partnership or whatever with some people. 25 years old in business and already on top of the game like that. I was still trying to figure out life at 25. I was still working. I don't know. I want to have my own business, but then it's a whole lot of other stuff that goes along with it. How you have to, actually be a people's person. How you have to sometimes even cut your nose off to spite your face. How you got to sometimes smile up in people's face. You don't even like them, but you want their business. I watched a lot of Jeffersons, okay? I mean, all the hypocritical roles you got to play. I just can't do it. You have to be so fake to the point you got to fake it till you make it to run your business. Because there's just some people I'm just going to have to say, hey, you know what? My business is going to stay very small due to the fact that I don't like too many people. And y'all not going to like me either. And I'm not going to fake the fake. Okay, I'm going to let you know so you can save yourself the troubles and just keep it moving and go somewhere where you can have a good relationship with somebody that honestly and sincerely you can do business with. I'm not going to just do business with just anybody just because they got a name and they famous and this. I don't give a fuck who you are. You a nasty ass person and you did a lot of bullshit to people. I'm not fucking with you. Point blank period. Yes, what is it? Yeah. This cat loves to follow me and talk. But I'm pretty sure some of y'all that are listening out there get what I'm saying, right? I just don't do business with shady people. I just don't. And that's what business take. You got to be with shady ass people. And you don't know who's really truly a friend when people want to be in your proximity. When you got money and you got a name out there, you got to watch them damn people. And that'll be too many damn people for me to be watching. And I thank God I ain't got nothing but Jesus. And that's all I need. as a friend. I don't need a whole bunch of friends. Hell with you. Even with family members, I'm like, the hell with you too. And some of them I won't bow down to either. They could do all 1,000 and million things for me. But if they got a funky, nasty attitude when they do it, it means nothing to me. It means nothing. You done nothing for me. But bring me more headaches and troubles and try to put more burdens on me. I don't need to hear that shit either. Don't you hate that when somebody do something for you, they want to throw it up in your damn face when they get mad, they want to start talking shit? No, that's not. If you're going to do something, you just do it and you just leave it right there. Leave it at the altar. Don't pick it up again. That's the way I feel. Leave it at the altar. Don't pick it up again. So when you do it out of goodness. If you don't want to do it, just don't damn do it. That's it. I'll figure it out. And that's just the kind of person I am. I will figure it out. Because all I got to do is ask you once. And the last thing I got to do is ask somebody for something one time. And they got to give me a long history about their own struggles and finances. I don't need to hear all of that shit. All you got to do is say yes or no. Just say, no, I can't help right now. And leave it as that. I wish I could, but I can't. Say it in a nice way. I wish I can help you right now, but I can't. If you really holding on for dear life or whatever you got and you feel that, that's going to kind of like shorten your money, whatever. If you can't do it, you can't do it. I know I would do it.
Front door.
Sorry, y'all. Okay. Anyway, y'all. Well, back to the Shanquella girl. She went out there with the people. She only knew a few of the people there because her mother said it. Her mother asked her and everything. How was her trip? And, when her mother had that last conversation with her daughter, her mother did question how was her trip. And everybody who was all there, her mom was getting all into the business, like for her daughter. Because she didn't really feel comfortable from the beginning. If you listen to what happened, how this whole thing started, mom did say she didn't know these people. And she was wanting her daughter to be very safe. So she checked on her before she got on her flight. Then she checked on her again once she got to Mexico. And Shanquella, her last conversation with her daughter was that they had chefs coming to the villa or whatever, to the house where they were staying, to their mansion or whatever that luxury place they were in, and that was going to be doing some cuisines for them, some Mexican cuisines. So mom was like, be careful and be safe, and I'll talk to you later. And then the next thing you know, here another thing comes in, that when she called to speak to Shanquella, whatever, she get this message that Shanquella is going to the hospital because she had some type of alcohol poisoning. Then the next thing you know, these people shows up at her mother's house without Shanquella, with her bags and her luggage and everything else, and they come in to the mother's house, sit on her damn furniture, eat in her damn house and everything. Probably offer them, the southern hospitality and shit. And she said they had a meal and everything. I don't know if they had a real good meal or whatever. But knowing those southerns, and one thing I know about southerners, I don't know if they still the same way, because I don't think people kept those values up with their children. I don't know if their children kept those values. That's what I'm saying. I know a lot of my family kids, they do a lot of traveling around the goddamn world, and I bet you call and ask them for any goddamn money. If you short on a bill, they ain't got it. They got it, but they didn't want to give it. They want to put it on themselves. They want to splurge around the world, and people going to say, well, you don't tell me what to do with my money, and it. Well, okay, I ain't going to tell you, but God going to show you something. Okay? But anyway, like I said, they have a hospitality where in the South, they always, when somebody comes to their house, they always offer you something to eat or something to drink. That's their culture in the South. Not here in the city, and I mean, people still have that culture, but when you come from the South, you got it in you, Because I know I got it in me. Damn. I know I got it in me. Okay. If somebody calls me so I'm sorry, if anybody come by my house, I'm always offering something to eat. And even that during the holidays, well, this holidays, I didn't do nothing but sausage and peppers and on whatever for my Memorial weekend. And I did do some ribs. I did some ribs as well. And some potato salad and all that other good stuff because I didn't get a chance to cook on the grill because it started raining and it don't feel good raining and cooking. I mean, I could have done it, but I just didn't want to bother with that because I would have been doing it myself and I didn't want to be bothered doing it myself. You got to set up everything on the grill, but it was raining outside. It rained. It's a little rainy, but I still like cooking on my grill and I'm going to get to it. But anyway, like I said and everything, Shanquella's mother probably offered them food. They got there. They sat in her doggone living room and everything, and they told her that she died of poison, alcohol poisoning, and whatever. And then here comes the video surfacing. And the mother said, I dared them to tell me my daughter. She said, that is Shanquella when she saw the video because somebody showed her the video. The video was going viral on social media. And you mean to tell me these people ain't in jail? You mean to tell me these people are not in jail, but the video was all you need to see? The girl was being beaten by that burly woman while she was naked. She was being hit with some power blows. And she was a lot smaller than this girl that she was fighting, the she-man. And of course, she couldn't really hold her balance with this woman. And we know that they say it was a man, but that right there alone, his physical strength is going to be a lot more stronger than a woman. That's why I do not hang around those kind of people due to the fact that I know how jealous they are of females. And I know that when it comes to fighting a woman, they don't have a problem with it. And I know they're going to beat my ass. They could say the most shadiest stuff and come out and say the most horrible things about you and hurt your feelings and do whatever. But as soon as you want to snap back at them and tell them who they are as they live in a world of femininity or thinking they're a woman, they some delusional people. And they not the easiest people to get along with. Okay, and I'm gonna just keep it that way. They could talk all nice all they want to, but you just can't be around them. I'm sorry, if you're trying to live right for the Lord, you can't really hang around homosexuals as a woman. You can't hang around that kind of lifestyle. Because the thing with those people, no matter how much you tell them it's offensive, they will still try to convince you into their way of life and their way of thinking. So I stayed away from them just so that I can be a free woman and have a free way of thinking. And I can be a critical thinker. And I don't have to be around nobody that's just going to make it difficult for me. To especially when it comes to speaking on my Christian beliefs and my Christian values. I can't be around those people. He said the righteous can't be around the unrighteous. Clean, you just can't be around them. I got family members now that I just can't be around them. They so full of hell. You can love them from a distance, but you don't want to be in their company because they bring demons. They bring a whole lot of chaos. Demons is like chaos. They bring all kind of, drama and all kind of things that just upset you. So you don't want to be in the company of those type of people. You want to be around people who are good people, not saying perfect, but at least they know what is good and what is evil, and they're not going to bring anything around to offend you, upset you. They make sure you enjoy yourself in the comfort of their place, and they're not going to try to bring no corrupt stuff around you. They don't got too much stuff going on. I don't go to people's house anyway. But I'm just saying, I'm just the type of person. I don't like chaos. I don't like all the drama. That's why I don't keep too many people around me. I don't really care for a lot of friends. All my friends, they all basically live in different states, and they live pretty much a distance from me. If the ones who I met here, they not close by. I speak to my neighbors, yes I do, but I don't hang out in my neighbor's house. I don't go eat at my neighbor's house. I don't do none of that stuff at my neighbor's house. I don't even, well, we could get together for something in the summer, like a cookout at the park or whatever. Everybody brings something and we enjoy each other over there in the park. We have our cookout there's a park up in, close by to this area. But I'm just saying, you know, for the good of the community, I try to be very careful the kind of people I associate with. Now, Shanquella at 25, I don't know if she was discerning things. She probably did felt it once she got there to Mexico. I'm sure she did. She felt some of the isolation, something shady about some of these people were acting a certain way. And she probably did mention it. She probably did say something that pissed them off. She probably was outspoken and said, look, if we came out here to do this, we're going to do this. And I was sitting around doing nothing and I spent a lot of money on blase, blase. She probably talked about the money she spent on the trip and probably had to pay most of it for everything, for the room service, for the rooms, probably for the chef, the meals. And they got jealous. If I was Shanquella, I don't know if I was. I'm not Shanquella. I don't know what I could have done. But I know how we Capricorns are. Sometimes we could say things at the wrong time around the wrong people. And then all hell breaks loose. And I believe she was a Cappy. Her sign was a Capricorn. So I believe she did say up front, like, okay, y'all know y'all supposed to owe me some of this money back for my bill, right? She probably said something like on the money part. And the reason I feel her friend Khalil could have been the main person that set Shanquella up. And he might have been in some shady business or some shadiness with some of these people because he knew them, most of them, and he was the one that invited her on the trip. And there were supposed to be three gentlemen there, but one of them didn't not share. He didn't get there until the following day. He didn't come and been with them throughout the entire trip. He got there later. So he was the one who went directly to social media to clear his name up in what happened to Shanquella. He even said he went to her bedside while she was laying there, bruised and beaten, looking like she was bruised or whatever. She had a little bump on her lip and things of that nature. And she was just laying there and he was talking to her and he was telling her about, let's go and party, let's do this, let's do that. I came all the way out here. We supposed to Dad, we didn't even get out to the swimming pool yet. We didn't even have the pool party yet. We didn't do, like a lot of things he was sharing on his Instagram or in the video that he did, TikTok video, whatever. But he was giving some details of some things that he did witness and that he did seen of Shanquella when he got there. So she was maybe in that stage right then and there where she was resting while waiting for emergency assistance. They didn't probably take her right away after she was beaten and everything and laying in that bed after that girl on jacked her the fuck up. And we saw it. We ain't stupid. We saw it, and America should never allow this kind of crime to get away in a foreign country. We gonna get back to, like I said, Ashley Janae's story. And that one might be a little bit more complicated because he was a white man and he might get a little bit more privilege, which he might think he's going to get, but I don't think so. He might be trying to use his whiteness for privilege, but I don't know. I don't think so because that makes a lot of white people that don't do shit like that and don't believe in doing shit like that are Christians that's going to make sure his ass fried for what he did, not making them look bad. Or trying to get black people mind to go back into that mindset of what they dealt with in Jim Crow and what they dealt with in slavery and what they dealt with. You just don't want to play on people's souls like that. And you don't want to play on people to think that you're going to get away because some people made you feel kind of them Africans over there. Those Africans in that country, those poor Africans made you feel superior to your race. But when you get your ass back to the United States of America, that shit is over, boo. That shit is done. Ain't nobody getting by. You might think you're gonna be getting over because you were white and you had a black woman over there and you unalived her, and after you showed the video of being engaged to her and everything, you think the white Americans over here gonna really accept that shit without putting your ass in that jail cell underneath the jail, or maybe think about something happening to their relatives or whatever by some foreigner, and you gonna sit up there and think that just because your skin is light, you right, and you gonna get by. But that shit ain't gonna work in America. Maybe over there you got over, but here in the United States, they building the case, boo. And they gonna make sure you fry. After they finish with this one here, with Shanquella Robinson, oh, they coming for you. John McCain, they will be coming for you too. Because that's how America works. We don't move right away and arrest people. Eventually, God will shake them out, pull them out from wherever they hiding, because you can't hide from God. They gonna start acting all weird and doing all kind of weird things, trying to run away, get away, whatever, race away. It ain't gonna work. Because when God already got you numbered, okay? He's in control and he watches over this nation and he's gonna make sure that you don't get away with your crime. That's why Shanquella's Robinson, her story has not died. It's still been alive. It's just been waiting because they're building this case. We got to remember there were 6 people, not one, but 6. Nasir, Khalil, Elise, Dejanay, and I'm missing somebody. Donovan. There was a Donovan girl, and there was another young man named, I think, Tariq or whatever the hell his name was. I know it was some kind of leak or whatever. Ain't getting by. And this case would not still be open if they didn't have something. So Dejanay, they already been watching you because you wouldn't change your name and they on to it. They are on to it. But I'm going to let y'all listen to some of this because I know I ran my mouth enough on this thing today. Okay, because I haven't been on here that many times yet. But I am going to show you something that I came across here.
Case when the wrongful death lawsuit was first.
Okay, this is the video I was watching before I came on and did this live. This video is by 24 Hours True Crime. So some of the things I spoke to you about, it may be in this video. I don't know because I watched only up to this part of the video. But I just wanted to just remind you of some of the things that did take place. Like this is Shanquella's mother's talking about what happened to her daughter, I believe, and what's going on now with this trial. with this trial, right? It's probably all of that is starting to happen now. So some things are unfolding. I got to get out of here and get dressed. This cat just following me all over the place. No, no, no. But anyway, let's listen to the video.
Filed. We broke down the doctor's statement. We broke down the financial exploitation. We broke down how they left her body in Mexico. And now we are breaking down what the FBI documents revealed. I went through all 100 pages of the FBI documents. I read the redacted names and the blacked out details and the procedural language and pulled out every new detail that survived the redactions. What nobody has put together until now in the Shanquella Robinson investigation is how the FBI documents, the 3 different lies, the name changes, the $100 million federal lawsuit, and the Charlotte courtroom connect to form a picture that the Cabo Six cannot survive. 11 days after Shanquella Robinson died, a man walked into the FBI field office in Charlotte, North Carolina in the Shanquella Robinson case. His name is redacted in the documents, but he sat down across from federal agents and told them face to face that he believes Shanquella Robinson was murdered in the Shanquella Robinson investigation, not that she died. That she was murdered inside a villa in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, in the Shanquella Robinson case. That detail has never been the lead of any coverage of the Shanquella Robinson investigation. Nobody has opened with the fact that a person walked into a federal building and used the word murder before the FBI had even classified the case. And what makes that detail land harder is what comes next in the FBI documents in the Shanquella Robinson case. Because this same person told the FBI something else in the Shanquella Robinson investigation. They said they believed there were 2 cameras inside the Airbnb where Shanquella and the group were staying in the Shanquella Robinson case. 2 cameras inside the villa, and this person was trying to obtain the footage in the Shanquella Robinson investigation. Ask yourself why someone connected to this case would walk into an FBI office talking about murder and hidden cameras in the Shanquella Robinson case. Ask yourself what they saw or heard that made them believe cameras captured something inside that villa that the group did not want anyone to see in the Shanquella Robinson investigation. But I have not shown you the worst part of the FBI documents yet, because what the FBI found on Shanquella Robinson's body is the detail that makes the alcohol poisoning lie collapse in the Shanquella Robinson case. For every person who has been following this case since 2022, you know who Shanquella was. A 25-year-old daughter from Charlotte, North Carolina in the Shanquella Robinson investigation. An entrepreneur, a hair braider, the generous one who paid for the trip that the people around her turned into the worst night of her life in the Shanquella Robinson case. She was added last minute after others backed out, and she ended up funding the villa, the private chef, the entire vacation for the same group that would watch her die and do nothing in the Shanquella Robinson.
Didn't I say that? She probably paid for it, and she probably was like telling them about their part of the bill because she's a businesswoman. And you know these people, how chisty they are and how shady they were, didn't want to pay their bill. So instead, they rather beat this woman to death, leave her body in Mexico, and come back and make up a lie that she died from some poisoning, some alcohol poisoning or whatever. But let's go on.
An investigation. Every woman watching this in the Shanquella Robinson case, every person who has ever been the generous one in a friend group, the one who covers the bill, the one who says, "Do not worry about it, I got it." Think about what it feels like to discover that the people you paid for, the people whose trip you made possible, the people you fed and housed and funded were the same people who stood there with their phones out while you were being hurt in the Shanquella Robinson investigation.
See, I didn't grow up with friends like that. We were broke, poor as hell friends, okay? We got our little paychecks, whatever it was, we knew how to share and take care of one another, take care of each other, and we carried a friendship that was more in faith. We trusted in good faith. Today, no way you're going to trust anybody with money on a trip that you're going to spend all, you're going to carry their bill. That is the wrong move for anybody to do with friendship. Friendship should never be on the price on money. Friendship should be genuine and pure. But people don't have that type of way of thinking today. Everybody is friends with somebody got money. You know, it's all about the Benjamins. People turned into commodities, business deals, money. And people are losing their life so quickly behind the foolish mistakes that they make with friends. They be on Instagram, Facebook, you name it. Just to prove
Person watching this right now in the Shanquella Robinson case, I want you to do something for me. Think about the last trip you took with friends. Think about the person who booked the rooms. Think about the person who paid the deposit. Think about the person who covered the dinner when someone forgot their wallet. Think about the person in your group who always makes sure everyone is.
And I'm sure Shanquella parents raised her with decency. And I know they probably try to teach her the right goals in life, the things to do and not do. And the way her mother talked, it sounded like she wasn't taking no crap from Shanquella. I think she got over more with her dad than she did with her mother. And I think mom always was on the job because she had her Christian ways and her Southern upbringing. That there's just certain things we don't allow our daughters out there in the world to do when we raised in values. You're going to check behind your children. You want to know who they are, what friends they hanging out with. That's how it was back in the time when I was coming up. It was nobody such as this as a friend until your parents had to check them out. These days, these people just let their kids run with all kind of groups of friends. Back in the days, you only stuck with that one friend or maybe two friends, and that was it. Now, you knew other associates in the community, but there was just certain groups you just didn't rock with. You wasn't in a clickety kind of thing. You know, when I was growing up, I don't know. I never really was a part of any clique. I always kept my own identity and kept myself very different from the group. If I was hanging with people, I always had my own different identity. Until this day, I do not follow everything out there in the world and call that being cool with everybody. No, I ain't cool with everybody. Let's go on.
Taken care of in the Shanquella Robinson investigation. Now picture that person on the floor of a villa in Mexico, unable to move, in pain, and the people she paid for are standing around her doing nothing. No one is calling for help. No one is holding her hand. No one is saying it is going to be okay. They are constructing a story about alcohol poisoning while the woman who funded their vacation is dying in the Shanquella Robinson case. That is what happened to Shanquella Robinson in the Shanquella Robinson investigation. She was not a friend to these people in the Shanquella Robinson case. She was a funding source. And once the trip was paid for, once the villa was secured, once the private chef was booked, Shanquella had served her purpose in the Shanquella Robinson investigation. On October 29th, 2022, less than 24 hours after arriving at Villa Linda 32, Shanquella Robinson was inside that villa with 6 people in the Shanquella Robinson case. Dejani Jackson, Khalil Cook, Elise Hyatt, Winter Donovan, Malik Dyer, and Nazir Wiggins. Those are the names. Those are the people who were inside Villa Linda 32 when Shanquella Robinson.
That's the one I Miss Malik. Malik, Nazir, Khalil, Donovan, Elise, Dejane. Those are the 6 people besides Shanquella. I was trying to remember their names. I better write it down so I don't forget because I'm older now. So a lot of stuff I'll forget because there's so much loaded in there.
Was attacked in the Shanquella Robinson investigation. And every person watching this needs to know every name because every one of them watched what happened and not one of them stopped it.
You see, I just said I need to write their names down so I don't forget. But one name always stayed clear, Dejanay. Her name sticks out the most because she was the one identified in the video when she was beaten Shanquella. But I'm not going to play the whole video. I just wanted to introduce you to the video so you know that this case is still on and they are discovering more things about the Shanquella Robinson case. It's still unfolding because, like I said, there's 6 people involved. The United States government don't move that quickly when something happened because they want to make sure they find everything they can, these prosecutors, to make it stick. And they going to give them the best performance in examining these people when they go to trial. And no matter how much they're going to try to change their story, the truth is going to stand out. Like they say, justice is blindfolded. But God is watching every single day. And he's making it work every day in his courts in heaven. How he is going to bring these evil people to justice. They're going to have a slow process, but a long, long suffering when they do go to jail. And it ain't going to be pretty for them. So they could enjoy all the freedom they can, but they children, they better spend as much time as they can with their kids before they see themselves behind those that jail cell. I don't know if the jail cell gonna be here in the United States of America, but we're gonna watch and wait, and we're gonna pray for justice for the Shanquella Robinson family, especially for her parents, who's been working overtime to make sure that this will not die, but will bring justice for their daughter. And I'm praying with them and I'm praying for them. That's why I'm doing this video. And I also talked on a lot of other stuff, but I just needed to just speak on it because I see it so much going on in our society today with the evil that's in people's heart today, based on nothing but the things of the world, nothing of the kingdom of God. Everything is about jealousy, envy, strife, just hatefulness, just all in their heart today. Like I just said, these people will go on a trip for over 2,000 or something dollars to Dubai and all these other places of the world just to go on vacation, but not to take care of their things at home, like paying a mortgage and doing the things they need to be doing so that they can remain rooted and stable. But they rather take their money and go party, go get their hair, nails done, or some men out there, whoremongers. They got to have a bunch of women and they got to try to impress her and these beautiful women that they put out a heavy price. And then when the relationship is starting to die out, they want to take somebody out. Look at the man just took his wife out. Was that necessary? Just get the damn divorce and then y'all can fight for whatever property that y'all need to fight for. Or your custody of the children. But don't have to kill each other. You could separate, legally separate from each other for a while until y'all both get yourself together. It happens. I mean, marriage with children ain't easy. Marriage with property ain't easy either. But those are the things that people need to talk about before they even join in one body as saying they holy matrimony, marriage, and all this other stuff. Especially these women past the age of their youth and they still want to be out here youthful. Being youthful don't necessarily mean you have to go and hook up with somebody. Being youthful is just the fact that you just staying faithful to God and remembering the things that were taught to you and that brought you a mighty long way in the good things that is done for you, and you can pass that on to your children. Or you could pass that on to somebody out there that don't have a mother, that don't have a father, that you can give that child some love and some nurturing and sometimes your time and show them that you care and your support. But you don't necessarily have to go out there and try to still grab onto a man And even some of them going after the younger men. Leave them young men out there for the young women to marry and have a family with. You know doggone well you can't do nothing for him right now. All you could do is nag him to the grave. But anyway, I'm just wanted to share this with you all this morning, and I pray that you all have a wonderful worship Wednesday. And I'll hopefully come back with y'all later on a different topic. But I just wanted to let y'all know that Shanquella's story is still alive and is back on track again. And we're not going to allow it to die until justice had been served for the Shanquella Robinson family, especially to her parents, for the loss of their beautiful daughter. And with that being said, God bless you and enjoy